All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the system that's supposed to track every single one of your tax dollars. It's the unseen engine that powers good governance. So, let's pop the hood and see how it really works. So, let's kick things off with a question that, honestly, hits home for every single one of us. You pay your taxes, you use public services, but how can you be sure that money is actually being spent wisely and for the things it's meant for? Well, the answer to that question lies within a system called public sector accounting. It's the framework that's specifically designed to connect the dots between the money we all contribute and the services we all get back. At its heart, you can think of it as the official rulebook for how government money is managed. And this isn't just about balancing a checkbook. No way. It's a really formal process for tracking every financial move, from huge federal departments all the way down to your local city hall. The process itself is actually pretty logical when you break it down. First, every single financial transaction gets recorded. Then, all that data is carefully sorted into the right categories. From there, it's all summarized into reports that are, hopefully, easy to understand. And then comes the final and most crucial step, sharing those reports with the public, with us. Now, you might be thinking, okay, it's accounting, right? How different can it be? But you really can't mistake this for the kind of accounting you'd find at a big corporation. The whole philosophy behind it is different because the ultimate goal is completely different. And here it is, the fundamental difference. A private business, it's laser focused on one thing, making a profit. Simple. But the public sector is on a totally different mission. Its whole purpose is to deliver services, roads, schools, public safety. The bottom line here isn't measured in dollars and cents, but in our collective well-being. So, this unique mission totally shapes the entire system. It is heavily, and I mean heavily, driven by laws and strict regulations. You can't just spend money on a whim. The budget isn't just a guideline, it's a legally binding plan. And above all, the whole thing is about stewardship, this core idea that officials are just temporary caretakers of our money, not the owners. So who's actually keeping an eye on all this? Well, a lot of different groups are. This isn't just some dusty report that sits on a shelf. We, as citizens, want to see our tax money put to good use. Lawmakers need this data to make smart decisions, and you've got oversight bodies and donors who rely on it to make sure everything's being done by the book. It's got a really wide audience. Okay, so we've got all these rules, all this structure, but what's the real point? Why go through all this trouble? Well, it all serves a much, much higher purpose. Building the very foundation of a government you can actually trust. And really, it all boils down to two absolutely critical ideas. First is accountability, making sure public officials are answerable for the financial choices they make. And second is transparency, making all that information public for you and me to see, so things happen out in the open, not behind closed doors. At the end of the day, the system exists for one simple reason: to tell a complete and honest story. It's designed to show us exactly where the money came from, whether it's taxes, fees, or grants, and then show us exactly where it went. No secrets, no funny business. Now, one of the most powerful tools for doing this is something called budgetary control. This is where the rubber really meets the road. It's all about comparing the plan to what actually happened. Did that road repair project stay on budget? Was the local park funded like they promised? This kind of simple comparison is absolutely vital for catching problems, like overspending, before they get totally out of hand. But it's about so much more than just playing gotcha with the budget. This data is critical for making smarter decisions about our future. It helps guide long-term planning, it helps us evaluate whether a public program is actually effective, and it protects public assets, our buildings, our vehicles, from being misused or stolen. So let's tie all of this together. We've seen what the system is and how it's supposed to work. Now, let's get to the big payoff. Let's talk about the so what? Why this incredibly detailed, rule-heavy system is so important for all of us. Look, when this system works the way it's designed to, the benefits are just massive. It truly becomes a cornerstone of a healthy society. It promotes good governance because that paper trail makes corruption really, really hard to hide. It helps make sure the services we all depend on are delivered efficiently. But all of that leads to the most important outcome of all, which is building and keeping public trust. That's the ultimate goal. That's the grand prize. Transparency and accountability, they aren't just buzzwords. They are the essential ingredients. They're the inputs that generate the most valuable output there is, our trust. Without that, the whole relationship between the public and the government just starts to fall apart. And that leaves us with one final, very important thought to chew on. We've seen how this invisible engine is designed to hold our society together through accountability and transparency. So the critical question we should always be asking is this: if this system is the bedrock of public trust, what happens to all of us when that bedrock starts to crack?